You see more of a thump, thump. Not bad, but it's not still a thump. Hi, miltonchang of Bonsaiheirloom, and it's a beautiful autumn day. I would work on this San Jose juniper that I got about a year ago. Let me tell you a little bit about the origin of this tree so that can help you find materials later on. I went to visit a bonsai nursery, which means they have a lot of trees in the various stages of development. And this was growing in a 5-gallon pot. About a year ago, I bought it, and he had 5 of these left that are in 5-gallon can that had pretty good sized trunk. The price is about 5 times a landscaping 5-gallon tree. So you do pay a little bit more, but the trunk is much thicker. And I'm sure he has already done some cutting to pre-shape it. The point I'm trying to make is that do visit these old nurseries where people are not totally commercialized. They grow trees they love and they think that's useful for landscaping. And they're overgrown, they're setting aside, neglected. Those are the best buy. You just look for the basic trunk design and so forth. So after I got it, I put it into this bigger pot from a 5-gallon, let it grow again 1 more year to let the roots establish. And also I cut a little bit to shape it. So today then, it's really you call it the first cut or the second cut for me to make this into a bonsai. And then from then on, I will show you every 6 to 12 months the progress. You will see it will look very nice 2 or 3 years from now. Basically, the process, I let it grow a while, and then I have to, by definition, cut it back to shape. And the tree will look pretty bare at the end of that. And the next time, it will outgrow again, but it wouldn't grow quite as wild. So I cut it back again. The pads were starting to shape. And the next time, the pads will be a little bit more full. And after 3 times, is that it will have a nice trunk and then really big pads, big pads, big pads, 2 or 3, 4 or 5 big pads. That's it. It kind of covered the growth of the branches. I rather prefer the intermediate stage where there's some amount of pads, but doesn't big enough to cover the design of the tree. So it's a compromise. It's a matter of preference. Both are good. Both are desirable if you prune it well to show the care that went into it. So that's what bonsai. It's basically to show the refinement and the care that you've gone into it to make people appreciate the fineness of the tree. So with that in mind, then, as usual, I like to pull the tree out of the pot because I never worked on it before. So it should not be too difficult to take it out of the pots because it's only been here, a bigger pot from a 5-gallon can, about a year ago, not quite a year ago. You can see a tremendous of roots has already grown. Look at the fibrous roots. It's a very healthy tree. I should say this is the San Jose juniper. As you can see, all the needles are like this, like Prostrata. The Prostrata has the needle leaves as well as the scale leaves, and this is a entirely scale leaves when they are mature. When you haven't cut it very recently, that's for the Prostrata, and that's a tree that I really prefer the most, and it's used a lot in Southern California for bonsai. This is less desirable because it tends to be more needle. They never form the scale, the San Jose juniper. And some people in Southern California will turn this into bonsai, but not as frequently, not as preferred. But I like it. It's a good material. In fact, for the longest time, I was looking for the Japanese needle juniper, which is more of a straight up trunk, very desirable for bonsai material, but I can never find it in the US. So I think I'll settle for San Jose juniper. It's really a very good compromise. The growing characteristics very much like the Prostrata, except it doesn't have the same scale needle. So now so the first thing I will do is to comb out the roots. You can see there's tremendous amount of fibrous roots. I will never kill the tree, famous last word. And I'm looking for the thick trunk to start the base of the design. And you can see here's a thick trunk, thick root. And that's where I think I will stop combing below that. So let me comb it all around. You see, those are the soil I added to the 5-gallon can. And the new soil with a little bit of watering encourage tremendous amount of fibrous roots. And that's nice. So again, should stop when I can find a big thick trunk to decide where the tree begins, where the bonsai begins. Yeah, these were all new growth. It wasn't there before. So in 1 year, you can see how much roots should grow. Juniper is a very easy to grow tree, and you can take the cuttings very easily. They will all become new junipers. I think there's a beginning, a little bit of a roots, but you can see the thick roots doesn't start here. So this part is taller, so if I do a lower, this part will be exposed very nicely. So we'll decide at the end how far I should go. But you comb it out this way, you only have grasping roots to show the power of the tree, healthy growth of the tree, and that it's a good starting point for your bonsai. And these fibrous roots will die off, but that doesn't matter, there's plenty below. But you can see this root starts right here. So it's okay, that one is down there. We can expose this part to show the interesting rootage. So when I bought the tree, I thought this is the size of the trunk, but in reality, the trunk is this big if you include the bottom reach of the roots, the bigger roots. Well, I think the bonsai, the whole point of the bonsai is very calming, and when you work on it, it's like meditation. And so the whole idea of calming is that when you look at a tree, everything is synergistic. The base, the trunk, the flow of the branches, and the paths, they all have to be synergistic, very calming. And that's give you the sense of meditation. When you work on it, you can envision the future. So that's what the virtual bonsai is. Really unlike any hobby, quickie hobby, go to gym for half an hour, it's done, which is good. But this is a very meditative kind of a hobby. So like right now, depending how far I want to go, this tree is ready to go in a pot to about a pot of this depth. And with a lot of fibrous roots, what I will do is probably bury the tree up here to make sure the fibrous roots is feeding the tree, because I'm going to cut off a lot of the roots from below. And then when the roots below are recovered, then I'll cut off these fibrous roots to expose the thick roots, and that's the process. Everything's very gradual. So for example, I will show you how this is already ready for a pot, because like I said, I got it in a 15-gallon can, and I planted in a deep pot for it to grow fast. It did a lot of greens, but I can really just cut it off right here. I hope this pot fits. I think it does. And so that's what I'll do, fill in the soil later. But that's how the tree will look like when it's in a pot. I think it's not too bad. Maybe tilting a little bit more to make this the apex, and this goes down. Well, this is a pot out of a bonsai I bought at an auction. And this is a Japanese pot. And this is a seal. And that's an additional seal of the guy that's making the pot. So he's very proud of this pot. So this is likely to be a very good pot. Although I have to say, this ain't no Yixing pots, because you can listen to the sound. It's not ringing as well as the Yixing pot. You see more of a thump, thump. Not bad, but it's not still a thump, not a ringing, the good clay like the Yisheng. So there's some expertise involved in this. You have to know what you're doing to look for good pots. A lot of pots looks nice, but they are not good, clay-wise, in a sense, not solid. So I will put my root pruning lining in, and then I'll cut it off later to make it look nice. But root pruning is a very important thing that we do that saves you the labor of later on when you want to repot your tree. I will cut off the excess later. And this soil is actually not too bad, so I'll put in better soil later. So you can see when I bought this tree a year ago, I actually had this little thick wire to guide this tree, and I broke it so that I can bend it down. And so you can see when I remove it, it didn't even move. That's fine. And then this branch, you can see it's kind of like, I really would like it to be down a little bit. So I may break it again here, but I want to pull it down so that it gets more of a curve. And I use the same guide wire, and I just pull it. And you can see this is cracking, but it now gives me this look, and then this look, and then that look. So for the thick branches, you use guide wire to shape it. And the same with this one. Okay, let me get to work to shape the tree now that the roots are done. Again, I found the roots to be much lower, but for now I want to make use of the fibrous roots to save the tree. So I'm planting at this depth, and later on I will move it up and comb out the soil, remove the fibrous roots, because there will be many more fibrous roots established below. So that is the tree, and I will not bother to repot it nicely right now, but in 6 months I will. So let me do the clipping. So now that the roots are done and I determined the front, now I'll work on the tree. Now this, I was gonna make this the apex, but it didn't work. So maybe this will become the apex, but never mind. For sure this can be the apex. So let me cut off a little bit to accentuate the growth of this one. And you can just bend it a little bit and it will stay put. You don't need to wire it actually. So I'm creating little pads below the apex, so it'll be roughly like this. But I let it grow a while before I worry about it. In another 3 to 6 months, I'll do it again to show you what next. And this branch, since there are branches below, I don't need something really tall, really long. So I just cut it off here, make that a little pad someday. I think people don't like needle juniper because they are pokey when you work on it, but that's okay. You only do it once every 6 months or so. Not that big a deal. Well, this I don't like because it's coming out of the crotch. So I would make this into a gin. And then this is a beautiful tree, a beautiful branch. This branch really likes to come out this way. So maybe I just cut off here. So if I cut off this part, this will come out like this angle eventually. It may take a year, but that would be nice. And so this branch will be here. Looks okay, not great, but in time it will grow out for me to reshape it to look better. And after 3 times, it will look very nice. So this branch will go backwards, and then this branch, clean this up, and this is going backwards. That's not so good, but it can be, something can grow out of here. But let me not worry about it. Later on, when this develops, I can work on it again. Just look at that, how nice the curve will be eventually. Right now it doesn't look like very much because it's not the right thickness and all that. So bonsai is really make the tree follow your vision. So you just have to be imaginative and be willing to think a little bit long term of what you want the tree to become. Now this branch is really interesting. You can see it's coming down this way, and then I'm making it go this way. So this is really a beautiful vignette for you to catch your eyes. So let me work on this a little bit more carefully. I can let this branch to go backwards, or this branch to go backwards, depends which one grows a little faster. And then these coming out this way. Now this branch coming out, you can see this is too drastic an angle turn. That wouldn't be in nature. So you cut that off to make that into a jin, right? Very easy when it's still growing or wet. And then this is also too abrupt an angle, but maybe this little branch should be okay. And you want this to come this way, and then this go that way, and maybe this to go this way. So this would lengthen to give you the design alternative going which way. So you don't need to make the decision now, but you put it in the rough design so that it will fulfill your vision. So that's this branch coming back this way and going out this way. Nice. This way this one's really out of place, but maybe I can use this to fill this hole. But I don't like weird growth, so let me just cut this off. So this one, for example, can come out this way. So if you cut it off, that would be nice. Now come here, you can see you should really work from the top down. So this is going in the wrong direction. You just want to create a sense of peace, harmony of peacefulness by making things go the natural way, not zigzagging, but you know how they would have grown naturally given the lighting conditions. So let's take a look at the front one more time. Yeah, I think this will be the front. Otherwise, I can make this the top, the apex. But let me. This is getting quite cluttered. So I can see this goes that way, and then these become jin. So this one I would bend it down to make it a back branch. You see. Now working on the back side, I have to be a little cognizant of the front first. So this one obviously going too far back, it will never do that. And this is basically a dead branch. It's already dead. So that's a jin. And then this one, it really wouldn't go that way. So I want to cut this one off and show you something. I would have left a little stub. I want to show you something. But you can see these are the little bumps on the juniper. And these, if you put it in water, it will root instantly. The roots will come out really very quick in a few weeks. And so what you can do, for example, take this big branch, and what you can do is say you just cut off most of it because it will shoot out again, right? But you want to cut off most of the green so it doesn't vaporize too quickly. Now, if you plant it, this will root out. And let's say if you pick this the apex, it would be a tree growing like this very quickly. very quick. So this again, I think it's called interstitial roots. These are actually roots trying to come out. As soon as it gets wet, it will. It's that easy. You can see this one is kind of wimpy curve, but if you pull it down, just use a tire wire to pull it down, you can see that's a nice, powerful format. And so when it thickens, this would be a nice bottom branch. And so that's what I would do. And these, you want to cut off the redundant ones because they would never be used. There's so much growth that need to be thinned back to compensate for the root loss. Now this one is interesting. This is a very long branch, there's nothing there. But that bottom one is very interesting, a lot of growth. So you cut off to make that into a chin, right, to add a little feature. It's very easy to do that when it's wet. Let me go get the plier. So that's a nice little chin. Eventually it'll turn white to make it look interesting. And then this branch, it's really kind of far out. In fact, I think I just saved this part to become the tree. The rest of it's also a chin. You know, a little bud becomes quite a, will be at least as much in a year. So give us some vision of what the tree will grow into, and that complements your design, grows into the design idea you have. So this is kind of long. And I'll cut this off so the side branch can go to the other side. Just let's see what grows next time. And this one is below, so that's silly. This part I really have to make some choice because this branch is going the right angle. This one is not, even though it's got a lot of interesting growth. Can I save it? I don't think so. So what I'll do is I'll make that into a jin. But again, you can see a lot of institutional roots for this into a cutting. But I'm not going to propagate San Jose juniper. I have a lot of Prostrata juniper. I think it's for me, it's a better material. So I would make this whole branch dead to create a little bit more interest. On the other hand, this part is a little blank. So I should really let that grow into that to fill that space a little bit. So those are the design choices you make, and in time, the tree will look full. So I just want this to grow into something, fill this hole in a 6 months will easily this size or this size. So that should be okay. It doesn't look much now. And this obviously is going the wrong direction, so cut this off. Okay, almost done. Now I have to manage these two areas. So maybe one possibility, bend this a little bit so it doesn't go so that it goes in the right direction. So if you pass the yield point, it's not going to come back. You don't need a wire to hold it. So it's done. A lot of this need to be correcting in a few months, but there's no hurry. So let me tie up a few of the wires to make it look better, the overall design, to show you how to do wiring. So you need to anchor on the main branch, so you try to tie that back onto the main branch as much as you can. And then you go from the top down to hold it. Not too tight, but wind around it. So now this branch is roughly where I want it to be. And I do a little bit of this. Now this branch, you can see it's got a little bit of angle, and I let it go. Let these branches come take over to decide what to do next. And this one, you can see it's a very interesting turn, and I can simply just anchor it without wiring because it's a little bit thicker, and it's anchoring is a lot less painful. So I will anchor it to that part of the tree if I can. In this case, it's right about here, right? So I just pull it down. Yeah, even more towards this angle, huh? I press it to its yield point. In fact, I will even go a little further so I can make it go into a wider angle. So I just tie it right here. The tree will talk to nature and vice versa to make this branch grow out the way it should be. I don't need to sweat it. It will tell me how this branch will grow. You know, this branch will go this way, this branch will go that way, and then I can rework it again. And I think this is pretty much it, although this branch need to come down because it's kind of like going up, where I think it'll be more natural when an old branch gets older, it bends down. So again, I will tie it to an old branch. So today I have worked on this San Jose juniper, which I bought from a nursery, old bonsai nursery that probably have kept this tree 15 years and growing in a 5-gallon nursery pot. And I put it in a big growing pot, and then I reshaped it today for the first time after I bought it, and did a little bit of minor pruning when I bought it. And you can see this tree has, what I did is I first comb out the roots. There are a lot of fibrous roots up front, and the base is really much lower than this. But I planted back in the pot to save the fibrous roots on top, surface have fibrous roots top, so I won't kill the tree. And then 6 months, 12 months from now, I'll lift the tree, pull out the soil, cut off the fibrous roots to expose the base to show the base is actually the thick with the roots. And so it'll be really nice. And then you can see it's got a lot of movement. I try to accentuate the existing curves and then bend the branches to accommodate the design. So with that in mind, then this is basically the tree. I kind of want to show you how you can get a nice tree, a starter tree from a nursery, bonsai nursery, and work on it to become a nice bonsai. And I cut back the bottom roots and stuck in this bonsai pot. I think it fits pretty well. It's a good Japanese pot that the artisan that made it actually put a double seal on it. So it's a good bonsai pot. I think that's pretty much the tree. I just wait until I'll say 6 months from now, I will probably show you how much it's grown and what I can do to improve on it. So thank you very much. Please click like to give me some encouragement. Tell a friend so that they would discover our channel as well. And subscribe to our channel and send us your email address. We can send you information relevant to your location. Thank you and see you next week.